Hey there, we are back on the Morning Wake Up. Thank you, 1320. Thank you for being here, that is, 1320 WILS, add the .com online, where we live stream. You get the TuneIn app, and also the podcasts are always there as well and frequently updated on a regular basis. So you can join it and interact however you want to, including with all the political talk we do here, both local, state, and national. Speaking of national, what about this year's presidential campaign and social media? It keeps changing. It morphs from where it was 4 years ago. Facebook was a big deal. Now there's a lot of Twitter, but there's other platforms out there. There's Instagram. There's Snapchat for millennials who are really engaged. And so far, not for Hillary Clinton, a lot of them for Bernie Sanders. You know, they get this guy out there who's, geriatric, and he's appealing to the under 30 crowd. So what is it about that and social media that can affect a political campaign? Debbie Georgatos is a political strategist, author of Ladies Can We Talk. She's been a guest here many times, and we always welcome her back. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I've got a take on this. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Either way, the candidates all have their sites, have their official, the real Donald Trump, and he says outlandish things. But I think a lot of campaigns now can be decided by not just what I would call surrogates, but your friends that you engage with, and the level to which they engage you in politics and campaigning, good or bad. It can affect a campaign positively or negatively, and there's more of that now than ever before.
I think everything you said is just right. The power of social media is just almost impossible to overstate because, if you think you're a candidate, and it used to be the common law, a candidate had to touch a voter 5 times, knock on doors, 6 times before they really would resonate with them.
Retail politicking, right? Yeah, they used to call that retail politics. Still do.
Yes. But it's just an amazing thing. But it can kind of cut both ways for candidates because if a candidate himself or herself is tweeting out and posting Facebook things, that's their voice. But we have, for example, Donald Trump has 9 people who on his staff tweet for him in addition to the fact that he tweets. And so, you have to be really careful who's speaking on your behalf because it's quickly going out to a big universe. And then as you're alluding to, everyone who receives it, a tweet or sees a Facebook posting, they're interpreting it, they're sharing it with their friends, and your message may get garbled or twisted around by all the people repeating it. So it does have a downside in that way. You also have a fun thing I'll quick throw in. The idea that we used to have campaigns in this country before internet existed, before television, before telephones, but since 2004 when Facebook started, social media has just become the singular most, in a broad way, platform to reach masses of people. And it's only been since 2004 that Facebook even existed.
Yeah, it used to be, it was a big deal if you put a yard sign, right? I support this candidate or this slew of candidates. Here's my yard signs. You drive by, oh, look, the Websters are supporting so-and-so. Well, now the Websters are online, and they're putting out a lot of info about their favorite candidate, and they're trying to mold your opinion, not just when you drive by their house.
Exactly. And the other thing about all this social media stuff is, especially Twitter, you are limited to a certain number of characters. And so you really have to focus and point a message out. And I will say the broad spectrum of candidates that we're watching in this cycle, Donald Trump has by far the most Twitter followers. But my guess would be he's not adding new supporters by things he's tweeting because they're so, what's a good word, a kind word, they're very aggressive. They're, he's an idiot and she's a fool. I don't think he's adding followers or supporters to his campaign. I think he's just keeping his base worked up. That's what I think that he's accomplishing on Twitter.
You can do positive things on social media, but why do we tend as a society, Debbie, to get I used to look at the comment section when they used to be anonymous in most publications online and say, boy, this is pretty unhinged. When people have to put their name to something, that will tend to get a little more civil. Not true. In fact, people don't have a problem being completely uncivil and putting their name to it. Why is that in your mind? And how does that play politically?
This is such a good discussion to have. There was a recent commentary discussion about what's happening on Twitter. I think partly this particular campaign season in 2016, people are on the conservative side in the GOP voting primary base are so upset about the direction of America. There's just a lot of anger out there. Now, I'm not the first person to say that, but it's being reflected in the content of people's social media postings. So Twitter had an actual problem, and I think between the supporters, essentially it was between the supporters of Trump, Cruz, and Rubio, where it was just intolerant of any even positive posting. Someone said, well, I think Marco Rubio said a good thing here. It just pounced on by the followers of the other two. You can't say that. He's bad. He's bad. And it can become a media where people get tired of reading it because there's so much anger there, and it's not positive. And Twitter has been and is a, generally speaking, liberally owned thing, and Twitter's been shutting down some conservative accounts. And the whole other aspect will continue if people love Twitter so much is to recognize that there is someone in control and someone will shut down people.
In terms of, I guess, civility, and in terms of it being ramped up the other way, now, just for context in our history, and I know you like history too, Debbie. As Americans, you can go back and look at even the time of the Founding Fathers. They were they respected each other, but they were also very rough on each other. And in publications and pamphlets and letters, some of which were written by famous people but anonymously, they were very, very rough, even in the language of the time. So, and politics will do that. I mean, it's kind of in our nature and our DNA.
I agree. And, it's funny when you started that question, I was thinking about the depth of discussion that used to happen in political debates. That's very true. Back to the founding, back to very early presidential campaigns, they used the expression yellow journalism. There were comments by commentators or people who were either supporting candidates and candidates themselves that were really, as you say, in the refined language of their time, but still harsh, sometimes dishonest, misleading. Right. Yeah. So this isn't new in this era.
Unpatriotic. Yeah, exactly. It's not new, but our method of doing it is new, and I think the immediacy is certainly that's what's changed. The time frame involved is what's very different now, and candidates are aware of it. Their campaigns are aware of it, and who harnesses it best and who handles it best. If you can handle it, you can ride a tiger like this. Is it possible to do? I think that's not necessarily a slam dunk out there, and I think even they are experimenting with places. Certainly, Trump has been very unique in his approach to social media and what can be said and what you can, quote, get away with and advance yourself with here too. Debbie Georgatos is a political strategist, the author of Ladies, Can We Talk? America Needs Our Vote. Debbie, where can we find you online?
We have a fabulous Facebook page, speaking of social media.
There it is.
Ladies, Can We Talk? Our Facebook page is really active, and also my website is ladiescanwetalk.org. Lots of information. Hope you'll tune in. We'll check it out.
Social media, publish or publish at your own peril, or don't publish and perish. That's the way it is in politics these days. Debbie, thanks as always for being with us.
Dave, thanks for having me.
All right, more ahead. Morning Wake Up.